Hello, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about histograms, how to make them, why they might be used, and the difference between a histogram and a bar graph. Now, first off, a lot of people mix up histograms with bar graphs. They go, oh my gosh, these things, I know how to make them. I've been making bar graphs for years. Histograms are not bar graphs. A bar graph will take a set of data, and every single data point will be a different bar. You'll have a bar that's 154 high, a bar that's 161 high, and so on. So in this data set, you will have 23 different bars. Now, you can arrange those bars to give you a nice shape and give you an accurate picture of your data. However, a histogram, which we're going to get into, gets to be a little bit more flexible. It's going to take these things called bins, where you're going to take your data and put it in different ranges, and with those ranges, you're going to take data and say, I have this many people that fall into this category. And as you change those bin sizes, you're going to get different images about your data. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our histogram, we're going to make two different bin sizes. We're going to start with a bin size of 10 centimeters, and then we're going to go into a bin size of 8 centimeters, and we're going to look at the difference between what those two might do. So in this first one, we're going to have, if we're going up by 10, we're going to say 150 to 160, 160 to 170, 170 to 180, 180 to 190, and 190 to 200. And then we're not going to use that final bin. If we have these and we don't have a final bin, I would just erase that final bit. However, because I'm doing another bin size in just a second and I'm recording this, I don't want to have to draw that up on the fly. So I'm going to take 150 to 160 centimeters. I'm going to go to my fictitious class. I took 23 different people and I said, you're all in my class. How tall are you in centimeters? I want to do centimeters as opposed to inches so that I can get a little bit more variance in my data, a larger spread. In this, we have a range of 41 centimeters, whereas if we were looking at inches, we probably have a range of about 12 inches, maybe 14, but it's nowhere near the difference that we would get with 41 centimeters difference. So I'm going to say 150 to 160. How many people do I have that are in the 150 to 160? I have one. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to go up by 1. My x-axis is my bin. My y-axis is the frequency. So how many times does this show up? So we have 1 over here. Then my second one, I'm going to say 160 to 170. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not going to count the 170s because that falls right on the line between 160 and 170. If you had your choice of which bin to fall into, you're going to fall into the bin that's larger. You want to have more space if you fall into a bin. So we're going to take our 160 to 170. We have 8. So we're going to go up to the 8 mark. Ideally, we would be doing this on graph paper, but I don't want to run out to the greenhouse in the rain to go get our graphing board. So we would do this. I'm not going to fully color in the boxes, A, to save my markers, and B, because I'm going to be erasing this in a second anyway, and I want to be able to have a clean erase. 170 to 180, we're going to have 11. So all of these and that one. Because remember, 170 falls right on the line. It's going to fall into the larger bin. So we go up to 11 on this one. Sorry, squeaky markers. Is that showing up on the video? Is that catching it? It's a little bit faint. Let's try a different marker. All right, 180 to 190, we're going to have 2. So now we're seeing a drop off in our data. So if we were going to be describing this data, we would say it could start off pretty shallow, gets pretty steep pretty quickly, and then it tapers off. And 190 to 200, we have one person in that bin. Again, if I was doing it on graph paper, this bin and that bin would be the same height. It's a little bit too high. For the sake of time, I'm not using a ruler, whereas if I were making this for a POW or something, I would be using a ruler and being nice and straight. There are also a number of different technologies that you can make histograms on, such as your calculator. The TI calculators make really nice histograms. It's really easy to manipulate them. The computers have a program called Fathom that I'm not going to have time to do in this video, but I can show you one-on-one in class. So we have this histogram. Pause the video here, take a look at this bin, maybe take a screenshot. I'm going to be erasing it, and I want to compare this graph to the next graph that we're about to make. Oh, I'm erasing my axis. All right, so with 10 centimeters, it gave us a nice spread. Now let's see what happens if we do 8 centimeters instead of 10. So in this one, we're going to be going up every 8. So let's say 150 to 158, 158 to 166. Sorry. 166 to 174, 174 to 182, 182 to 190, and 190 to 198. Again, if someone falls right on the line in a bin, let's say 166, you have one of those, that person is going to fall into the larger bin. So as we go along and we make our axes, or as we make our bins,